Alright, so what we have here is Craig's. It's a 62 or 63, I believe, Nova. And Craig is a great story here. My buddy Rich Halsey convinced him to ditch his small block carbureted life and go nosedive straight into Holley Terminator, fuel injected, turbo, LS, VS Racing combination, Snake Eaters, Flex Fuel, all of it. He convinced him, he sold him on all of it, and you know, they smashed this car together in no time flat and loaded a bass tune, and he's been driving it pretty much every day since then. So they set up a time to bring it up and for me to toss it on the dyno, and what I did was I tuned it on, it makes 8 or 9 pounds on wastegate. I tuned it on pump gas on wastegate, and then we drained out all the pump gas. We put in 5 gallons of pump E85 from their area, and we continued on with the tuning, and we made spectacular numbers, and I'll explain more about the combo after this commercial break. So, during the idling intermissions here between hits, we'll go over some more facts. This car is fully tubbed out in the back, and it has a small 31 by 13 slick out back, and it has a Dyno something rear end. I don't know them that well, but it's a, you know, 8 3/4 or 8 and whatever Dodge rear end, 373 gears, full spool, and we're about to make another hit here. We'll come right back. So front to back real quick, it is a Gen 3.5 4.8, which means it has the good rods but a 24X crank trigger. It's got a Summit Stage 2 cam. I'm unsure of the valve springs. I do believe it has PAC 1218s. Nice and simple, boys. It has a Gen 3 truck intake with a built-in fuel pressure regulator, stock rails, and it's running Snake Eater EV14 bodied 1000cc injectors. And then it has a 4L80E and a Jegs off-shelf converter. I can get you guys the part number here in this clip right now. It has a hot side that's home built by Rich, which is very similar to a Faller or truck style log manifold. So it has a stock iron manifold on the driver's side. It goes underneath the transmission bell housing. It feeds the back end of a log that is a stock manifold that he sliced with a bandsaw and welded Schedule 40 stainless to, and voila, he put a VS Racing Don't BSme Denma Special Sloppy Mechanics boy on there. It has a Gen 2 billet 7875 turbo, standard 3-inch intercooler, 3-inch piping, and like I said, completely stock Gen 3 intake. This thing is really crushing it on the power. It's doing it fantastic. They did take this motor apart and gap the rings just to make sure that it wasn't going to butt anything, but other than that, it is completely stock bottom end, 4.8 liter. I think it's, you know, high 20s gap on the rings, top and bottom. And fantastic build, gentlemen. We'll show some pictures quick here of the side profile. And engine bay, VS Racing 44mm gate welded right to the housing. Monkey Fab exhaust cutout flange right on there. You can see here these massive tubbed out Pro Street back end and the twin AEM 380 external pumps, and the rest of the front end a little bit unfinished, but it's fine to drive. Here we can take a peek at those nice Snake Eater brandy new EV14 bodied, which is like the newer Dodge and Ford Mustang EV6 connector smashed in there, and a nice dirty stock truck intake cramming out all the power in the world. We got one more hit on the dyno, and then you and I will take a trip down dyno and data log lane. Now for the astute among you, you might have noticed a little bit of stumbly bumbly on that last hit, and we had a little bit of spark blowout on some low 20 pound of boost range, and we'll go over that in the logs. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the time on the show when we go over the logs and show my pretty face in the corner here. So we got the tune-up. We got the tune-up here for Craig. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop in first log, and we're going to prepare his other run files for the dyno. So as you can see here, this is the 376 rear wheel on 9 pounds. You can see average 9.6. Look at that closed loop. That's tight for a base tune. 31% duty cycle. Flex fuel multiplier, only 3%. This is the pump gas hit right here, as you can see. So this was our, as we discussed, this car would mostly be ethanol. So what we did was we made it safe for pump gas on wastegate, and then from then on, you know, if all he could do was fill this thing with pump, he would turn his boost controller off and it would automatically be this safe right here. 9 pounds, 14 degrees. Ethanol content sensor is pulling it out from a 19, almost 20 degrees base. All of that stuff's automatic. It's automatically offsetting the air fuel. All that stuff's working incredible. So what we did was, let me open up his. So this is a Chevy Nova. He's got to be right here. Where do I have him? Chevy? Well, we might have to cut this. Well, we got it right here. It says 63 shoebox. It doesn't say Craig. So I biffed on that, kids. So this was the first hit on pump gas, and then this was the refined pump gas hit. So this is what I sent him with, and he was driving around on. And then this was our revision. Yeah, 375. That was another tiny little bit of sprinkle of spark, and it wasn't really worth it in my opinion for a car that's going to run mostly E85 to be so stretched on pump at all. We can go over that quick. See what we got. 375 on 9 pounds on pump. What do we see here? Yeah, I put a degree in it and we basically didn't get much at all. We dropped the boost a tiny bit. It liked it, it didn't like it. It's 10% alcohol, still straight pump gas. Not really much going on. Leaving it go, right? 375 rear wheel. Gotta call it a day. So we went right from our best pump hit, we left it alone, we drained all the pump gas, and we put in ethanol, straight pump ethanol from their area, and we made a hit. And this is the same amount of boost, made 438 rear wheel. Now let's preface this for you guys. It's automatically adding spark because of the tables I have in place. So now you see 8.8 pounds, 20 degrees, 68% flex. It's putting 24% on the base table. It's using 38% of the injector. Only a 1% deviance, which this is important. I have to show you guys right here. This is how close all the math is, and this is how good snake eater injectors are. You can see right here, all I did was I took this 375 hit right here on pump, 10%, -2 closed loop, very close to 0, right? And I put in ethanol, and this data log even says E85. Imagine that. 8.5 pounds, 69% flex. The multipliers, all the tables are doing their job, and look at this closed loop compensation. It is dead on. And we made 440 rear wheel. So, you know, 8-ish pounds, a 9 peak. Let's call it 9 pounds, 12.2 air fuel, 40% duty cycle, 20 degrees. And let's go right to 445. 9 pounds. So I think I made a slight timing change here and it did almost nothing. Yeah, not much. I put a degree in on top and it did nothing, so we took it back out. Very similar power, so left it go, pulled it back out, and then we went straight for the boost controller. What do we see here? 11.9, 11.8, 12 pounds. So hit number 6 made almost 500 wheel. Let's bring up this guy, hit number 6. So this was our little bit of a tweak here, 444 rear wheel. Very similar numbers, right? So what's impressive here is it went from this on pump to this on E. This is the same amount of boost, guys. So this is how awful pump gas is anymore, that increasing some octane gave us this much power on the same amount of boost. I mean, we're closing in on 100 rear wheel. Pretty incredible for just a little splash of the E. And then number 6 here is a boost increase. And we went from 8-ish pounds to 12-ish pounds, and we got a substantial increase in power. Imagine that. It's doing well. So, what's the next one? What's number 7? Oh, on hit number 7, I threw down 651 rear wheel. Let's pop that log real quick. 20 pounds, -5 on the fuel, targeting 11.8, 60% duty cycle. So 19.4 pounds. Like a low 19 pounds. 16 degrees down low, 17 all the way out at 6100. Everything's looking good. This vehicle doesn't have any cavitation issues, I believe. I don't know if his flex fuel sensor's on the feed or the return, but doing good. So 651 already. And then let's go back to here. What did number 8 make? Oh man, 680. Hit number 8 made 680. Wow. Yeah, 21, 21 and a half, 21 and a half pounds, 22. It never hit 22, so let's say 21 pounds. 21 pounds. Pulling some fuel. I padded it up top here. I mean, these are all me just guessing. This is the first hit on 21 pounds. 21 pounds, 15 degrees. Slamming down 680 wheel. It's still picking up. Now, rough math, it depends on where you go from where we were and where we ended. Roughly 18 to 22 horsepower per pound. I was a little bit softer on the ignition. I just wanted to get the boost higher so I didn't have to use as much ignition on a stock bottom end car to make the power. And it's making incredible power, really. All of it's working extremely well. These guys should be extremely satisfied with themselves. 698 right here. Let me show you guys number 698. Made another hit, made a boost correction. Roughly 23 pounds. I like to see it pulling fuel. You always want to have too much, right guys? You always want to have a little bit too much and have a little bit of trimming going on. 1160 air fuel, 70% duty cycle on the Snake Eater 1000s. 67% flex, almost 700 wheel unlocked with those steamroller back tires. Substantial. 4L80E unlocked, 31 by 13 full tubbed out back end. That's some ponies. I think they said this car weighs 2,900 with him in it. Yeah, gonna be fast. So here is our ending issue for the day. I cranked a bunch of boost into it. 24 pounds. It had a spark. You can see here RPM is a little bit dippy. It had a bunch of misfires and I lifted. I asked them what the plug gap was and they laughed and said out of box BR7s. So it could be anywhere from 25 to 28. That's usually what they are. Sometimes they can be higher than that out of the box. Not usually. So this is right around their horsepower expectation. And if they want more, they can always come back and we can lean on it. He can turn this up, and if he gets used to it in a weekend, he can bring it back and we can crank on it more. But it hit our goals. Everything was in line. We had fuel, the flex sensor worked good, the car worked good, we made good horsepower per pound. There was no reason to go any farther in all of our opinions till he got it out and raced it or did whatever he wants to do with it. So again, it's really neat to see just the 4.8 with just a crappy intake manifold and some crappy Snake Eater 1000s and some regular garbage pump ethanol and 2 AEM pumps and all the simple stuff and Terminator all coming together to make 700-ish rear wheel unlocked in a car like this. It never gets old, me seeing the combinations work. Let me tell you what, guys. So that's our pump gas hit here, and this is obviously I lifted on this hit because it misfired. You can see the dip. But you can see here, this cheap Jegs converter is still coming out. It's making all the mile an hour. There's no significant converter loss up top, even at 700 rear wheel with the big tire and everything else. So incredible, really. So it always is rewarding to see. This was my base tune, and this is how they drove it. They thought about driving it to the dyno, and I was nervous. But it rained really bad on Sunday, and they, didn't do that. So it's neat to see how a car came in and then how a car can leave with these substantial power gains on a turbo car, and everything's automatic and you don't even have to think. So this is just another Don't BS Me style complete success story. Everything went fantastic. We basically had zero issues with the car. They got the solenoid for the boost controller like the day before they came to the dyno appointment, and I said, just plumb everything physically and I'll go over it and then we'll wire it and I'll check your outputs and we'll make sure it works before we use it and dial in it and set it. And they just had there's 1,000 diagrams on the internet explaining to how to wire the boost controller. We only had to move a port on the boost controller and we connected the wires and we went straight to make and boost. And we were able to go from the 8-ish pound spring up into the 20-some pound range. Here's what we'll do. We'll load the log and I will tell you guys how far into the boost controller we were. So roughly 23 pounds. Boost, let's look at this. Boost control, 88%. So we were pretty far into the boost controller, but we were also pretty far into his horsepower goal. So that's cool to see. Boost controller right there. Everything working good. Fantastic. Couldn't be happier for these guys. It has been... We got that hurricane coming through here. We're all underwater on the East Coast right now, so they have not had this car out. I tuned it on Sunday, and it is right now Tuesday night, so they haven't been able to take this thing out and smash on it, but I can't wait for their reaction. I can only hope that someone's able to videotape it. Other than that, thrilled to see this combination that I had a hand in developing help so many people jump straight into this, and you can just get in this car and hit the key and drive it. Awesome. Couldn't be happier for these guys. Great guys. I hope he loves this car. And look at him. He's getting his car out. Obviously, he's had this car a long time. It's been a nice car, and he hasn't been able to drive it and have fun with it. Now, look where he is. Taking it out, having fun with it. He's got like, I think he said he spent $400 on this motor. So, incredible, right? Anyway, let me know what you think. Same old story, bunch of lies, feeding you guys lies. Let me know what you think. Say congratulations to Craig and Rich again, and we'll see you next time.